Hey guys, it's Doug the Retirement Guy. Retirement Challenge week number 11. Can we retire on $500,000? Can it be done? We got a lot of updates to do this week, so let's get into it. First off, the week in review. Well, we received our estimates for surgery, and you guys all seen last week. We definitely have to have surgery on our hip. So we actually asked the medical office and the insurance to give us a kind of breakdown of what we're going to cost to have this surgery. And the medical bill costs came into, we got to pay a $7,500 deductible. We're going to have to pay a copay of $1,600 for a total of about $9,100 out of pocket. Now, most people would be sitting there and being panicked that they have a $9,100 medical bill that they have to attack with. But the nice thing is it came well below the estimated price of that $10,000 to $15,000 that they told us the week before. So our medical bills are not going to get as big as we thought. The question is, how are we going to plan to pay for this medical bill? And this is the neat thing about planning and having a strategy for everything. We have the emergency fund that we can use. We have the house bucket fund that we can use for portions of it. But the other nice thing about this is we have time to really evaluate where we want to get the money from. If our income continues to go, we can pull it all from bucket one. If we need to tap into the little bit of extra money we have in the emergency fund, we can tap into that. So across the board, we have options now that we know the number that we have to attack with. So with that actually made us and forced us to kind of step up our plate to the next thing of the week. And that next thing is we're going to be changing our stock portfolio. SCCHD is gone. We're selling this one out. The Charles Schwab stock basically has not been performing the way we expected it to. And when you see things that are not going as predicted, you have to set a target to get in and out. We covered that a few weeks ago of what we use for a target, but things just again are just not, coming to plan. They're just not working out. So we sat down and said, this is what we were expecting out of this. And realistically, I was expecting a growth value of about 6%. That's why we put this into the fund. If you go back to the very first day when we set this all up, we said we were putting in the Charles Schwab dividend program to basically to create growth and value to get our stock fund up, and it's not doing it. 11 weeks in, we should be at a 1.27% growth. Ours is at a negative 3.54%. So realistically, we're down 4.75%. And I just at the point, I do not see this thing moving positive. I do not see it making up the difference. So we're going to take a change and make some changes to that one. The dividend payout, this is the next one. I think it was probably the icing on the cake, or the stick that broke the camel's back, as they all say. And that is the dividend payout is quarterly, which we don't like that. We like those monthly payouts. And it only pays 3.84% a year. And I remember when we talked about this at the beginning, I said that if we get the growth, we'll settle for a low-end dividend payout. But you can see we're not getting the growth, and that 3.84% will not even make up of what we've lost so far this year. So I call it, this stock is really stalled. And for someone in our situation, so new into this, it's time to get out and find something better. So way below the estimated amount that we're going to have to sell. So now the question is, what do you buy? What do you look at? Well, I will tell you this right off. The new stock in our portfolio is going to be called AMZP. Now, you may not have heard this one. This is from the Kurtz fund. AMZP sells covered option calls for Amazon and Amazon only to create income. So they basically invest into some treasury bills for interest, but buy Amazon stock, sell it at a call option to make a profit to create income. Now, we do have a video on AMZP that covers all the inner workings and details of it. We'll link it down below in the description so you guys can see that. But this stock is really shown, and putting it through the test that we do has shown that this is the one that could probably make up some differences and some losses that we've had in the currently. So really, I'm going to put out there and tell you, we're going to have some aggressive goals. We're expecting a 19% growth in the stock. We're expecting a 20% dividend per year return, or 1.6% a month. We're going to take the $48,000 that we had in SCHD, and we're going to basically invest and be able to buy 1,469 shares of AMZP. Our growth expected by the end of the year should be about $7,600. And our dividend is expected to be $772 a month. So a couple of big positives is if we get that growth, which everything shows we should, we're going to have a nice increase in our portfolio and setting us up to do additional things, create even more income or more security down the road. The dividend is another $772. And if you take a look at that difference, that's almost $600 more a month by this little change between Charles Schwab and AMZP. So that's going to help add more to our monthly income, which again is going to help us cover medical bills and do other things that we want to do throughout the year. Again, I'm going to always spin this to a positive. If we can get this additional $600 a month, that would cover our travel expense, that we could even travel more across the board. But that's getting the cart in front of the horse. What we want to do now is just get AMZ on board and just see if this is going to put together the numbers that we're goal. We'll give it a couple weeks that we expect, and we'll be able to report better as this thing's doing what we want it to do or not. So we got a lot of changes coming. Let's take a look at our dividend report for this week. We had some pay in. So you see that Maine paid in $5.90 more than expected. I always love to see that. JEPQ is down $62.95. Again, we've looked into that. There was a slight dividend drop on that stock, but it did not have its special payment off, which normally comes at the end of the year. So we're not panicking about that, but it is something that we'll continue to watch and see. PNNT, we don't see that until next week, and Charles Schwab, you can see $144 was not a big dividend thing. So our income is not really going to change much if AMZP doesn't perform, but everything that shows it will perform, and we'll see some big changes in our income. QDT and XDT both, again, they're always overpaying. They're always going higher than what we expected. So you can see we're $161 on QDT over. We're on $265 on XDT. So we got a nice $1,670 in-pocket payout this week. And again, for the month, we're sitting at over $3,000 already. So our monthly income is already up $426. And we got plans to make that even bigger. So I'm happy and excited that our dividend payout's doing what we're doing and continuing moving forward. So our stock purchasing report, as we look at this again, you see Maine is up 14.6%. JEPQ is up 3.37. PNNT is really covering back strong at 3.76 growth. The Charles Schwab, we show in negatives because we're selling that off. And we're taking that entire money and rolling it into AMZP. Now, one thing I will do at all times is, our original $50,000 that we invested is still the cost of that stock. And it's going to carry the negative carryover from what we originally invested. So AMZP is going to start in the hole, and it's going to have to grow because I do not want to show anything different of the net value that we invested versus what we're getting back. So we will see this fund probably take off and grow and rebound that 3.5% loss. So this could be a very strong thing of seeing AMZP make up for what we lost in Charles Schwab, plus make up for additional growth, plus, of course, the income that come from. Now, the next thing is the QDT. If we take a look at that, it's been struggling again. And your question, you drop Charles Schwab, how long do we hold on to QDT, losing 6% of our value? And realistically, XDT is losing another 5% of value. I will tell you right now, even though these guys have a great dividend payout and they're showing us some good numbers there, I can't hold much longer with these kind of numbers without getting some return or show me some signs that they're going to improve. So these two are next on our radar. We'll be making some decisions. It takes longer because of the dividends that we're getting, but we can't be a fool and seeing our value dropping dramatically if we're not getting if we're not getting growth and we're getting too big of dividend. We got to make sure that we get a nice balance between the two. So this is why we did the AMZP to start off with, and we'll be looking at other. We're already evaluating other stocks that we may have to replace QDT and XDT with, and we'll cover that as we go through and the decisions that we had to make with it. But I would highly suggest you right off the bat, if you want to see that AMZP video, and you'll see understanding more and more what we're looking at and how we're looking at things. So to give you things that last week we were at $472,793 of value. We're down $186. It's not as big as drop as most people would think. We're still at a positive 1.61%. So basically, we sold off the SCHD, we bought the AMZP, the QDTs dropped again, the XDT has dropped again. So we're gonna have to cover these things as we go through. Positive, we're still ahead because of Maine, because of JPQ and PNT. So we're sitting okay, but we gotta make some changes for the long haul. So in summary, our income is right where we're expected, and with some changes with the stock change, we're expecting that to dramatically improve and go up. And like I said, we have the medical bills that we're going to have to cover. Growth in investments, we're holding at 1.61. We've made changes that we feel need to be done to help get our growth number going up. We started this off, we said we wanted to get about a 4 to 6% growth, and we're not hitting those numbers as of yet, but we are holding tight with that. Medical, we got the costs are more in focus, so we know what to do with that one. So that, guys, gives you the great review from this week in retirement. And just remember, I'm Doug, the retirement guy, and I'll tell you what, if you're liking what you're seeing, give us that big thumbs up. Give us that like button. It helps the channel dramatically. If we're trying to do what needs to be done here to try to grow a good, solid, informational website for you. Don't miss any of our videos. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to put a video out at least once a week. Sometimes we're getting 2 out, but we got a lot of information out there you don't want to miss. And always, if you have any comments about what you're seeing, if you like or dislike or question something or think something we're way out of whack, put it down in the comments. We're always happy to respond back to the comments, good, bad, and ugly, because you know what? All together, we're trying to achieve what we all want, a happy, enjoyable retirement with plenty of money and plenty of fun to go do things. So again, thanks guys for watching this week. We'll see you next week.